Hello everyone, I'm home. Welcome back to my channel. I've been wanting to tell you guys a little story about what happened in a Dollar Tree recently. I was behind a girl in line and she had a cart that was so loaded down with Christmas decorations that it looked like the Grinch's sleigh after he stole all the Whoville stuff. And I stayed in line behind her. Everybody else went to another line. And I said, I have to know what this is all about. And she told me that her mom was in a nursing home. And she said a lot of the patients have dementia and they like to decorate and make crafts. And she said, I just thought it would be cool to bring them all this stuff. And I said, you know what? They will go crazy when you lay all that stuff out on a bunch of tables. And I could just see them going crazy and having fun. And I thought it was really neat. And she let me take a picture of it. And her receipt came to $250.70. And that's a lot of stuff at the Dollar Tree at $1.25 a piece. And she was so kind. Her name was Jamie. And I want to thank her for doing that. She gave me joy just thinking about what she was going to do. And I'm sure we've been texting. I'm sure they really enjoyed it. And then my little cabinet that I got at the Salvation Army, I was happy when I looked it over and found out it had 2 little hooks to hang on the wall, although I don't know if I'm going to hang it on the wall. And I was going to varnish it, but I ended up cleaning it real good with some Murphy's Oil soap, and it turned out fine. So I just started putting some of my miniatures in it, and what I realized is I need about 20 of these cabinets. I thought, I can get a lot of miniatures in that little cabinet. And some of my little crocks are kind of rough. I made them when I first started doing miniatures, but they mean a lot to me, so I keep them. Some of those are the Jane Graber crocks, the nice ones with the roosters and the little salt crock. And of course, this is my little coffee mug that I made to look like a Santa face, and I dropped it and put a little chip in it, but he's a 1/2 inch tall. And this little cabinet's seen better days. I need to do some work on it, but I like my stuff looking old, so I may leave it. But I was putting all these little miniatures on the shelves of this cabinet, and I fixed the door, and I just firmed it up a little, and it turned out fine. Then I found this crystal sleigh on bag day, the $2 bag sale. I'm going to be pointing out some $2 bag sale things for you today. I bought that to put candy in for a gift. And then I saw this pretty red thing at a vase at Goodwill, and I loved it, but I have so much red stuff. It was real heavy, and it had a real pretty deep color and a real pretty design, but I don't need it. And then this is a pattern that's on some plates that I have. It's a napkin holder, but I have several napkin holders, so I passed on these little girls. I had a few of these when I was little, the little birthday girls. I always thought they were so precious. They had them age 3 through like 9. And I was going to tell you guys, if you ever want battery-operated candles, which are my way to go because I don't like to leave candles burning, they're always real cheap at the thrift stores, and they usually just need some batteries. This one even worked. I didn't buy it, but then I found this real heavy piece of copper that was great, but I didn't care for the fish design. Plus, I have so much copper, but if that had been a rooster or a chicken, I'd have had it. And these 3 little Santas, they missed the mark. They were $1.99 a piece, which is too much. I'm sorry. I gave a 25 cents to $1 for them, and that's as high as I'm going to go. But I would have loved to have brought them home and stained them up and made them look a little better. I thought this one looked like he was holding a baseball bat. I don't know if it's wrapping paper or what it is, but I passed on them. I have about 175 little Santas like this, so they didn't get to come home with me, but I wanted to show them to you. And this guy here, he's my quirky item for the week. I don't know who would have designed that Santa and get him done and think, oh yeah, people are going to love this. I just thought he was scary looking. I don't know. Maybe you guys think he's cute. And who needs this sign? I could have bought that sign, but you know me, I can paint my own sign. Plus, if you come to my house, you know I'm a Santa collector. You don't need a big sign to tell you. But when I saw it, I had to take a picture for you guys. Then they had at the Restore the other day a whole bunch of these Tupperware mixers or measuring cups. And they also had these 3 domes for 50 cents a piece with no bottom. And you know me, I like my domes. And of course, I picked out the oldest one, which was this one. It was kind of a cut glass. And I brought it home, and until I find a glass plate that fits under it, which I probably have, I put one of my Flow Blue saucers underneath it that's just beautiful. And when I paired them together, they look great. And I may just leave it like that. That would look real pretty with some candy or cookies underneath it. Then I saw this nativity set that was crystal, and each piece was real heavy. And of course, it was missing the baby Santa. Or did I just say baby Santa? Baby Jesus. And a lady in the aisle told me, she said, I think people take the baby Jesus and put him somewhere else in the store, so you have to go looking for it, which is silly. I never find random baby Jesuses anywhere. But this little set had 2 baby Jesuses, right after we just said that they never have them. But I have 3 or 4 nativity sets, but I thought I'd show those to you guys. If you hear horns and people going crazy, it's because I'm in a parking lot waiting for my husband. They had a lot of ornaments. They had a beautiful quilt the other day at Restore that was a cathedral window quilt. And they're just beautiful. And I had a friend that made one time. And I made a pillow one time like this. And they're very difficult to make. And it was beautiful. But I don't need a quilt. And I think this is from the 70s maybe. I don't think this is the real old picture, but it sure was pretty. And then I saw this cobalt dish. I'm just showing you some things that I thought were really pretty. That would have been beautiful cleaned up. And my mom used to have these back in the 60s and 70s, the plastic apples and the plastic holly. I had to take a picture of that. And this didn't have a price on it, and I got tired of waiting for them to bring me a price, so I passed on it. But it was gorgeous. It was very old. It had 3 feet, and it was unique. Then I did find this at the $2 bag sale, a lampshade that was kind of the rusty red color that I like so much, and I washed it up, and it's beautiful. Got this at the $2 bag sale, just an old red book, which I'll probably make a Valentine book out of it because I have a lot of Christmas books. Then I found this curtain, and I think I'm going to give it to my friend who's got a primitive kitchen, and she's got black cabinets, and she's only got 1 window, so she may want that. I found 4 of these. This is on the $2 bag sale. Just the most beautiful muted color of a ecru color with some roses, and it's just beautiful. And it really looked pretty with this, but I don't know if I might give those to my friend, but she doesn't really care for roses. Then I got this plate at the $2 bag sale, and it's like a dinner plate. And it's got that circle in the middle like it's a saucer. So I put some cups with it to show you that it's not. It's way too big to be a cup and saucer plate. So I'm wondering if it wasn't like maybe had a gravy boat at one time, but it's a beautiful plate. Another little pitcher with some gold leaf on it at the $2 bag sale. Guys, the $2 bag sale was crazy. I got so much stuff. I got this rolling pin, and the reason I got it looks really bad here, but it's small. See it compared to one of the regular size ones? It's really old, but it's smaller. So I came home and I scrubbed it real good, and I put some of the food safe oil on it, which made it look a little worse. But once it dried, it turned out really pretty, and I put it in my basket of rolling pins, and I've got it marked there with the exclamation point so you can see that it's all clean. And then I found this candle mat. There was only one, and I think I'm going to give it to my friend because she likes those kinds of things. Then I found this scoop, an old wooden scoop, and it looks like someone handmade it. I don't think it's real primitive and old, but it's got some age on it. And then this is one I had already that is old, and they both have this little hook on them, and I think that was to rest it on the side of your bowl maybe. I don't know. They're real old. And so I put them both in a bowl, and the newer one it looks like it's been handmade. They both probably were handmade. I found this at the $2 bag sale, a little berry bowl, Flow Blue. I had some already, but I picked that up. I picked up these little green and red ornaments. They're the smaller ones, not the real tiny, but I'd say maybe 2 inches. And then this precious little book, Davy Deer's New Red Scarf. Now, that's not Christmas. The story's not about Christmas or anything, but he is so precious, and I thought he looked like a little Rudolph, and he was at the $2 bag sale. And then I had been wanting to get an old Christmas coloring book like what I had when I was a little girl, and I found this one, and I bet you this one's from I'm going to say 40s or 50s. It was 29 cents originally, so it has to be pretty old. And it's got some glitter on his jacket, but it's not the kind of glitter we have today. It's kind of embedded in the paper. I mean, it's still on there after all these years. It's the original story all the way through. And look at how the mom is dressed with her boots. I think that's like 40s or 50s. Maybe not, but I'm not sure. They might have been just trying to make the characters look older. And then, judging from the style of the coloring, there must have been a couple of kids that colored in it, and maybe mom and older kids colored this one. I don't know, but it was just a really neat old book, and it's Twist the Night Before Christmas. It was made by a company called Whitman, and I looked up some, and they sell for about $20. So this one was free in the, $2 bag sale. So I'll display it for a little bit. And then this is the Simple Abundance book. I always find it at thrift stores, and if they're in good condition, I buy them for my friends. I found this felt, it was still in the package from Kmart, tree skirt, and I cut it in half, and I tea stained it. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but it looks a lot better tea stained, and as soon as it dries, I'll take a picture of it and show you guys, but it was free, so I just got it. And then my red roses from my garden. I was seeing red that day at the $2 bag sale. Got this plastic sleigh. But I'm telling you what, these are Dollar General pieces from a few years back. But you have to go up and touch that thing to see that it's not glass. It is gorgeous. And I found this sweater. I don't usually like to buy sweaters in thrift stores, but I washed this one out by hand, and this one is top notch. It's beautiful. It's the perfect Christmas red color. It's got like a little peplum bottom on it. It kind of fans out. It's longer. Covers my bottom. It's not real heavy. I love cable knit sweaters, but sometimes they're so heavy. I don't like them heavy. This is a lighter weight yarn, and it's got a little scallop across the bottom, and it was in perfect condition, and it was at the $2 bag sale, so I got it. I washed it, laid it out on a towel to dry. It's beautiful, and it's going to be beautiful for Christmas. Then I found this little girl's jacket, and I just went ahead and bought the little coat because I thought, I have so many nieces, and I know so many people with little girls. Then I have a friend that's in a assisted living, and she likes to put big decorations around, and so she wants to hang a big decoration from her light, and this is 14 inches, so it'll be perfect. And it was at the $2 bag sale. And then I got this little glittered Santa Claus ornament, and I was going to give it to my friend with the Rudolph stuff, but I was afraid she might get some of that glitter in her mouth. And then I found this big glass cutting board that reminded me, well, I think it's made by the same place as the one that my friend gave me that had the roses all over it. And I passed on it, and I kind of wish I hadn't because it was pretty. And you know all my prim pears that I made a few years ago, and I'm still making them. I've sold a bunch of them. Well, I buy pears and apples and any kind of fruit that's pretty and kind of realistic looking when I'm at the thrift store. So on $2 bag day, I got this apple and this pear, and they're heavy. They're plastic of some kind, but they're painted really nice. And I took my little tree and put it in the living room and just kind of made a little nature pear tree out of it with a few little baskets. And of course, I put my bigger tree up in the dining room this year. And I had this gigantic basket. It's 16 inches across that I bought from my friend Sherry. And I just folded up a little quilt and put in it and put the pears. I have so many pears. Ones I've made, ones I've thrifted and found at different places. And this is how you curate a bunch of stuff. Good stuff. I love my fruit. And I just filled it up in that little basket. It was from last year, but one of my baskets I just found at the $2 bag sale. I'll see if I show it here. And then I put some of my little stockings, and it looks really pretty in the living room. And like I said, there's the little basket. You curate these things over time, and then all of a sudden you have all you need, and sometimes you have more than you need. I'm going to put my nativity tree in the bedroom. I've already put it up. I just haven't decorated it yet, and I'll show you that later. But this is a little tarnished bell that says Merry Christmas I picked up somewhere. And of course, these are the little plastic balls that I painted to look like salt glazed stoneware. And this is one of my business cards for my business. Anything old I like. That's why I call my business Everything Old. And this is the Arnett Santa that my friend Sherry gave me for Christmas last year. And I really like this little one in the living room. My big tree is what's usually in there, and I'm fine with this. Then I got out my big 50-cent velvet brocade tasseled piece that I got at a mission years ago, and I put it on every year on my mantle. It's got gold on the back, gold satin on the back. It's real heavy. It was still in the package from JCPenney's, guys, when I got this. And I just dig it out every year and put all my crystal back up there. That's when I wash it real good and make sure it all sparkles. Now, I will put greenery in here, but I wait until about 2 weeks before Christmas, about a week and a half, because the greenery dries out so much over the fireplace. So we're driving around the other day, and we stopped at Treasured Roots Flower Shop in Hoopeston, Illinois. It's one of my favorite flower shops. It used to be Molly Culbert's flower shop for years. My grandma knew her. And this is a mural that's painted on the side of their building. The hot air balloon's kind of a nod to the hot air balloon festival that they have in Danville, Illinois, which is about 10 or 15 miles away. And I went in here to buy some poinsettias for my aunt, and they had these hot air balloon ornaments that were crystal. They were gorgeous, and we have a friend that flies hot air balloons, so I want to tell her about those. And then we went up to my aunt and uncle's house, my aunt and then my uncle's. And boy, when I pull into this house and see that sign, I'm just enveloped with love. I'm telling you, my aunt just hits me with so much love when I walk in. And I had a great day with her. We sat on the floor and looked at pictures and visited. Then I went to my uncle's shop. He has a business, and he just remodeled and put a new TV up with a color around it, and he's funny. And I hung out with him for a little bit. He's the one that I got the milk bottle for recently that was from our dairy, or it was similar to what was at our dairy when I was a little kid. And this is, I think I've showed you before, some of his milk bottles and dairy things that he's collected. But he has a lot. And every time I go, I think, why do I buy him bottles? They're just going to get lost in the mix. But I found him an Elsie the Cow milk bottle. And he has ice cream containers and cottage cheese containers. And I think, who would save a cottage cheese container from the 30s or 40s? But someone did. And a butter container, butter box. He's just got a lot of really neat collections. And this is the little mini shop I made him of his shop. He keeps it up on the shelf with all of his collections and lights it up as for a nightlight. And then he's got a lot of die-cast cars, and he's got some little board and milk trucks. Now, this is going downtown Watseka, Illinois. When I was a little girl, my mom would take us there for Christmas, and we would look in all the shop windows and see all the toy displays and all the trees. And there was a Gamble's store, and that was the one that had all the, so many toys piled up. They just don't decorate like that anymore. I don't think their department stores even have displays of toys like they used to. But we would just stand there in the cold and look, and you didn't even realize it was cold. You were so happy. And they would have decorations like this going across the street up above your head. They don't do that anymore. And Mom would take us there and let us look at toys, and then we would visit Santa. And then as we drove back through the little town that I was raised in, Milford, Illinois, this was the old dime store. And of course, the windows don't look the same, but I went there a lot to see Santa. And this is the old Milford Building and Loan. And I think about It's a Wonderful Life when he says, hello, you old building and loan. And then this is the depot in Milford, and Santa would come to the dime store some, and sometimes he would be at the depot, and we just stood in line, couldn't wait to see Santa. And I found out from my aunt recently that my uncle played Santa a lot, and I didn't even know it. And then we went through McFerrin Park in Hoopeston and saw their Christmas display. You drive through their park, and oh my gosh, these look like regular size ornaments, but they are not. They are probably 10, 15, 20 feet tall. They're commercial sized decorations, and they just do a beautiful job. These are arches that you drive under, and they have deer that jump over your car. And my kids used to love to look at it when they were little, and my husband and I, we still do. My husband's like, hey, we got to stop at McFerrin Park and see all the decorations. And when I was a little girl, I would go to McFerrin Park for a whole day, like on Wednesdays and Fridays, I believe, for camp. my mom would take me there and pick me up at the end of the day, and we had camp. And they still have the little building there that we had our camp in, and we would camp in this park. We had crafts, and we'd sing songs and sit around a fire in the middle of the daytime, and it was wonderful. And I was telling my husband about it. I said this was where I camped when I was a little girl. It was like either Brownies or Girl Scouts. I don't remember. Brownies, I believe. But it's a very beautiful park, and I'm really appreciative of all the work that they put into it. And I've showed you this before, but that's a little 1-inch copy of the World's Most Beautiful Christmas Tree book that my boys had when they were little. I saw it in my dollhouse, and I thought I'd show you guys again in case some of you new followers missed that. And I don't know, I just wanted to jump on here. Our internet's been down for 2 or 3 days. We've had a terrible time with it. And I wanted to get a video on over the weekend, and it just didn't happen. And I've got the wonderful aromas going in the house. I've been making my concoction of oranges and pine needles and cranberries, and wishing I could just crawl into my little miniature cabin here and read books and sit by the fire and make YouTube videos for you guys. And just, I would live in any of my little miniatures. I love them so much. I make sure they have lots of books and goodies. This is me when I was 3 years old. We were at my great Aunt Betty's Christmas party. My great Aunt Betty looked like one of the first ladies of the earlier presidents. She was beautiful and always wore pillbox hats, and she was just wonderful. And my mother, oh, I can still see her in this green velvet dress with the white collar, and how beautiful she looked. She looked as beautiful as Christmas itself. 1966, and we would go to Aunt Betty's and have a very sophisticated, lavish affair. She had hors d'oeuvres and a beautiful Christmas cake, and she really showed us a good time. And I remember it from being young. So if you'll join me on Instagram, MarcyJoe631, I'll be showing you, I think we're about done with the $2 bag sale. I've showed you just about everything I got, but so this morning I saw a few things that I forgot to show you, so we'll still be able to show you a few more things. And I'll be back as long as my internet stays up, and I love you from the bottom of my heart.